So let's take and explore the joystick. So we have a 2-axis joystick. It's going to read in the X and the Y direction, or left and right, and up and down. Make sure when you plug it in, you straddle that center portion of the breadboard. There will be only one column of pins on each side that you can reach. I think I might have been, no, I've got it. So plug that in. So the way that this needs to be hooked up, you need to ground your piece. So let's put in a ground. The pins are all labeled. So I've grounded it. I will use that as common ground later. I'll take my up and down UD, and I'll take that to analog. So I've placed that one in an analog sensor. I'll take my LR, it's up here, and I'll place that in another analog sensor. So I have AO0 and then A1. Then I'm going to take and place, there's a UD plus and an LR plus. Those both need to be powered. So let's take LR plus, which is over here on this side, and come just back over here to our power bus, and we'll add one more power plus as well. That means that I think you should be able to get away with 3 pins not being hooked up in any way, which is fine. Those are just there for options for us to hook up to. Alright, I think we're wired so that we have, we don't actually have power or ground going to our bus over on our chip itself, or our board itself. So take 5 volts, that is ground, that's 5 volts. Go to power, and let's take and go from ground somewhere in there, and head that over to ground. So I think you should be wired appropriately there. We'll see. So I'm just going to start with another brand new sketch. We have 2 pins that we're going to need to call out. We're going to have another 2 constants. So integer, constant, let's call this one LR for left, right, and we'll just set that equal to, let me see, is LR is going to A1. So we'll set that one be A1, which doesn't quite make sense because it's an integer, but A1 I think actually sets itself to be 15, which is fine. It knows the board which you have, and it knows what A1 means. So int constant UD for up, down, we're going to set that one to be equal to A0 because that's the pin that I'm going into over there. I'm also going to declare 2 variables. So I'll call one left, right, or let's just call it LR val. So LR val, I'm going to say value. And we need to call that an integer and give it a 0. So int LR value equals 0. Let's declare another one, int UD value, and give that a 0 as well. So we've just declared 2 variables and 2 constants. Those are what we're going to use to make our program. In our void setup, we're going to set up pin mode, and we're going to have LR for our pin mode, and we're going to have those both be inputs, both LR and UD. So those are both inputs. We're also going to open our serial connection, so serial.begin, and we'll set that at 9600. I think that's it for setting it up. Now it's time to actually write a program. So the main thing we want to do right now is we want to see what those values are going to be. So we're going to use, we need to go grab those values. So I'm going to use LR value to store the left-right value. And to grab it, I'm going to use analog read. And then I'm going to say analog read LR, which is just grabbing whatever value it's getting from LR pin. Let's do the same thing with UD. So UD value equals analog read UD. So now we've read both of them. Now we can put them and read them in our serial monitor. So I'm going to open our serial monitor connection by typing serial. Again, open with a capital letter there. So serial, and we're going to print ln again to print a line. Actually, we're going to go print. And I'm going to say, in quotes, left, right, value equals, I'm going to leave a space and put a quotation mark back on the end of that. So what that's actually going to do is it's actually going to write left, right, value equals, and then with another serial and print ln, which is really a carriage return at the end of our printed line, we're going to take and put in the value LR. So it's going to take that value LR and put it into immediately after that left, right value equals, and it will actually print that out. We'll do the same thing for up, down. So serial.print in parentheses and then quotes up / down value equals, we'll leave a space, and then serial one more time, and this is going to be print line, print ln, and UD for that one. So that's pretty much a program. I'm going to slow this down with a delay. Let's put a little bit bigger delay on there, 350, let's say. And that is going to slow it down just so it's not printing out so fast that we're unable to read it in the serial monitor. Let's upload it and see what happens. Well, I ran it and something happened, and it was not what I intended to do. But I'm printing LR. What I actually want to print is the value, LR value. So if I type in LR value here, I'll get the correct thing that I want to print. And this same thing, LR or UD value. Let's upload that sketch and see what happens there. It says it's done uploading. I'm going to pull my tools and see my serial monitor. And we should see it's printing some values. It's printing 516 for left, right, and 0 for up, down. And if I move it left and right, I move it to the right, I'm getting a 0 now. I'm getting a 0 for everything. If I move it back to the left, I go up. I'm up to 1023 and still 0 for up, down. I'm not confident that's changing. It's not. So I might have a problem with my pin connection there for UD. We've got pin UD. Everything looks good. I think I'm in the right pin. It should work. I've just got one thing written wrong. Maybe I even typed value in wrong. We'll see. 30 seconds of troubleshooting and I found what was wrong. I had UD plus actually going to ground. If I just take that and move it to power, I should see it immediately. I don't have to re-download anything, I bet. If I go to serial monitor and let it roll. Yeah, now both of my values are right around 500. And if I go up, I get a 0 on up, down. If I go down, I get near 1,000, 980 it looks like down. So it's all corrected. You can see you can hold it at a value, and it's just printing out your latest values for each of those. Now the challenge is to do something with those. I'll leave that up to you later.